Welcome back to APR. In these next few videos, we'll be looking at the Hiya Toys Dredd series. I haven't seen much about these figures at all. This is a great series, especially if you're a longtime fan like I am. Hiya Toys has given us a generous number of characters, which still feels like a dream considering how often we get Dredd figures. I understand it's hard to justify why you should spend a little over $20 for a 3 3/4 scale figure, especially when these don't come with too much, but these paints and sculpts are alone worth it. A great use of reuse. They still feel individual. We have other companies continuously reusing and repainting sculpts in such a lazy fashion you almost feel spoiled when you get up close to these figures. These are hard to pose, but it doesn't mean it's impossible. If I needed them stationary, they would still look great. Having these at 1/18th scale makes it so much easier to bring the world of Mega City 1 to your display, particularly for you apartment collectors. I don't have much room, but I definitely do for these. I'll get into the advantages and disadvantages in the next few videos, but I still can't recommend these enough if you're a fan. Entertainment Earth and a few other stores have these marked down for a steal right now. Definitely look into these. Welcome to part 2 of the Hiya Toys Dredd series. Starting with Dredd and Death, they come packaged on bubble card. Not much on these, but a quick description of the world of Dredd and Mega City 1. But we're not here for paper, we're here for plastic. Again, these sculpts are incredible. The body of Death is the basis of all the Dark Judges. In Dredd, his body almost feels like a last prototype before the final product. You can't overlook this though. I'll explain more in the Giant and Mortis video. With drop-down hips and double-jointed knees, these articulation points are great, but it's above the waist where it shines less. And it's mainly because of these iconic shoulder quadrants. This could easily be solved with a ball joint or maybe connecting it to a shoulder joint to make it more mobile, but I think this problem is inevitable with any Dredd figure. But for as detailed and as small as these figures are, that being the only issue is impressive. We do have 2 more Dredd figures releasing, one with the Lawmaster, and another him punching a hole through Judge Fear. These 2 sets will include a newer and more vibrant Dredd body. I'll do a comparison to Giant in the next video. But for now, go check out these cool figures, and thanks for supporting APR, Action Posing Resource. Hello and welcome back to APR. Next we have Mortis Giant, again packaged in bubble card. But we're not here for paper, we're here for plastic. Mortis might be the most bare bones out of all these figures, but he is essential for the Dark Judges. He makes up for the lack of accessories with articulated jaw and highly detailed tail. This figure still feels of its own, even using the same body that Death has. From the chunks of flesh ripped out of parts of his body, to his individual pauldrons, and back again to his articulated jaw and highly detailed tail, you forget he doesn't come with much in the first place. But what are you going to give this guy? More bones? He does his job in completing the Dark Judges, and having all 4 is unheard of. We've gotten Death a few times and 3 of the 4x3-0. But more on these guys in the next video. Now Giant. This is one of my favorite figures from this line. I could only ask for a ghostly premonition head to haunt Dredd. I composed this one with ease, and the first one I found in this line to actually feel like an action figure. This is where I wanted to compare him to Dredd. The paint and plastic of these feel so different in the slightest way. Giant has a vibrant coat of paint where Dredd feels more matte. Giants is still very easy to pose after a few months, while Dredd does start to feel a little loose. But even with those loose joints, they're still able to stand thanks to the stance provided with each figure. Having Dredd pointing his lawgiver felt somewhat off until I was doing this video and realized Dredd's forearms were switched around. This wouldn't be so bad if his forearm wasn't so curved when it was pointed straight. It's just off by a little bit. It still kinda feels like a prototype. If you display, my suggestion is to keep this Dredd in the pack and wait for the Lawmaster with Dredd. Personally, this didn't affect me too much. Dredd is still a great figure, and with Giant it adds even more to Mega City 1. It's still so great to see this world all together on the display. Even just to have one more judge that isn't Dredd is exciting. I'll be focusing more on the Dark Judges with Judge Fire and Judge Fear in the next video. As for now, thanks for supporting Action Posing Resource. Welcome back to APR. Next we have Judge Fear and Judge Fire, the final Dark Judges. Again, packaged on a bubble card, with not too much else. But we're not here for paper, we're here for plastic. At first I would like to talk about the Dark Judges as a whole. It's unbelievable to see these guys together, and really the first time we've gotten anything ever of Judge Fire. As I've mentioned before, we've gotten Death, Mortis, and Fear from 3-0, but never a complete set of Dark Judges. This is something I've been wanting since the greatly underrated legendary comic book Heroes run that gave us some well-deserved characters including Savage Dragon and Madman. A Kickstarter to revamp this into a 1/18 scale series started back in 2018 by Fresh Monkey Fiction, but sadly it was unsuccessful. But now they are releasing an incredible looking line called Longbox Heroes that you should all look out for. I like the big name villains and heroes, of course, but characters like this are why I'm still even interested in collecting, just to reiterate how special these four figures are, at least to me. Fear comes with probably the best 1/18 scale cape I've ever seen. It drapes so well. There's even a weight to it like you can imagine what it sound like dragging across the dirty ground of Dark World. This is followed by his unique pauldrons and belt in such amazing detail. He also comes with his handy bear trap. I found a convenient way of looping a chain through his fingers and it has never slipped out. If you notice the left knee on mine, that's total user error. The sun was hitting it just right on my display. He can be wonky, but I can still get him in a good position to stand. Finally, Judge Fire. This is an incredible representation of the character, and very much the standout of the four in looks. He comes with a well-sculpted flaming pitchfork and flame accessories. Now, if only these flames were easier to put on, and it's best to pose it by removing these and applying them after you pose him. You can always easily fix this with some tack, and it's hardly noticeable, or you can just do what they should have done in the first place and glue them on. Still, unbelievable to have a Judge Fire in hand, and it's such a rare thing to see. And for about $80 for all the Dark Judges, I'd say it's worth it. And at the time of this video, I've already seen Fear and Mortis drop in price. Don't pass these up. These characters are well deserved of some cool figures, let alone a complete set. This line is just getting good and just getting started. I'll be covering Clegg in my next video. I will be going over these as they release, cause man do we have some great figures coming up. Anderson, Hershey, Caligula with Judge Fish, and Main Machine Angel. We also have the Lawmasters. As a Dredd fan, I am loving this line and praying for some ABC Warriors. But for now, thanks for watching, thanks for supporting Action Posing Resource. Welcome back to APR. Next, we have the Clegg Mercenary. He's packaged a little different this time. In a matte finish box with a few suggested poses, this is one I would consider unopening. Which is fine, I would only get another. But we're not here for paper, we're here for plastic. One is not enough of the Clegg Mercenaries. This has to be my favorite out of the series. He's just fun, and again, something we've never gotten. The sculpt is amazing, and articulation is good for what it is. I wish his ab joint could do its job a little bit better. It only swivels side to side. His arms don't close in as much as I like them to, but that's just personal. I think incorporating something as much as butterfly joints in the shoulder would make that $25 price point a bit better. But that's just me being spoiled. This is still something special. The first Clegg figure. He poses good and he's well balanced. Even being at 1/18 scale, he's still fun around the 6-inch figures. Whether he's shouting Clegg high or just talking up some gossip, it's just an all-around good, silly, fun toy. I understand most won't get these for the scale, but I have no clue when we'd ever get a 6-inch Clegg. Hiya Toys is also releasing a 6-inch Dredd line. Let's just hope they can make it past Judge Dredd and Judge Death. But we've already crossed that line with the 1/18 scale, and I'm continuously loving each one. The Cleggs have been a big highlight for me. If you like Cleggs at all, this is a must-have. I'd even recommend this if you don't have any other Dredd figures, or just to fill an empty space in the case. I've had so much fun with this figure, and I still am. But for now, thank you for watching, and thanks for supporting Action Posing Resource.